Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the NBA Front Office Show. This is our special Christmas edition of the show. Merry Christmas to everyone. I'm Trevor Lane. You can find me on Twitter at Trevor_Lane, joined by Keith Smith at Keith Smith NBA. Keith, I've always said I wanted a white Christmas. I've always lived in warm locations and had never gotten to experience that. And now, as the weather currently here in Kansas City, where I'm visiting family, is -3. Be careful what you wish for. I think is the lesson that's being learned here. I am not prepared for weather that's this cold. This is unbelievable, and I am not adjusting well at all.
Yeah, that's brutal. It's been 20 plus years that I've lived in Florida with a brief break where I lived in Southern California. So I'm very blood thinned out, well adjusted to warm climates. And it's here, it's going to be down in the low 30s, maybe high
Oh,
20s this weekend for us. So we're not going to have a white Christmas, but it's going to be a cold one. And I'm really not all that looking forward to it. I don't mind wandering around outside on Christmas Day and having it be 65 or 70 degrees.
yeah.
I've gotten used to making those phone calls back home to friends and family, but it is what it is. And yeah, we'll deal for the weekend.
It's once you get inside, it's mostly
Sure.
fine, but it's anytime you go anywhere, it's, "Oh my gosh, this is oh, yeah, this life is a is a life I'm regretting having wished for," but
I hear you.
nonetheless, we'll at least get the great family backdrop photos of the snow and all that kind of
There you
stuff for
go.
Christmas, so
Yeah,
we'll get
and you
through it.
get to play in it a little bit and
Exactly.
all that good stuff. So for sure.
Exactly. We'll make the best of it here for sure. Today, like we do every year for our Christmas show, we're going to give Christmas gifts to every NBA team. So that's the plan. We're going to go through all 30 teams. It's 30 for the time being. Maybe expansion is coming sooner rather than later, but all 30 teams. I'm going to take the West. Keith is going to take the East, and we're going to pass out some presents. Have a good time.
Yeah, that's the goal, guys. This is meant to be more fun than it is anything
Yes.
else. So yeah, we'll try to mix in a little bit of basketball here and there, but it'll
Mhm.
be more fun than anything else as we get into this, and we will save the two teams we primarily cover for last. They will get their gifts last is
Mhm.
the big ones. But yeah, you want to start or you want me to start?
You go ahead and start. Let's go east. We'll move from east to west.
All right, perfect. So I'm just gonna do it by the standings, so that way I don't forget anybody or
I'm
anything
doing
like
the
that.
same.
All right, and I'm gonna start at the bottom of the standings with the Detroit Pistons. And what I'm gonna give the Detroit Pistons is Cade Cunningham recovers great from his recent surgery on his shin, and he comes back fully healthy for next season. That's my present. They're gonna have to wait a little while to open it to make sure that they get it, but that's what I'm gonna give the Pistons because that is more important than anything else to this franchise moving forward.
I like it. I think that makes a lot of sense. I will jump off then with the Houston Rockets currently sitting at 9-22 on the season, and I think I'm going to give them the best gift I possibly can. I'm going to give them Victor Wembanyama for Christmas. I'm going to gift wrap him, put him under the tree. Actually, he wouldn't fit under the tree. He'll probably tower over the tree, but in any event,
Absolutely.
I'm going to give them the gift of the number one overall draft pick. Even if the Pistons and the Hornets do right now have less wins, I've got the Rockets will wind up with the big man, and that'll bring a lot of excitement back to Houston.
We're gonna have to find a way to clone Victor Wembanyama because that's what I'm giving to the Charlotte Hornets.
Oh,
Because
I like it.
I think that's not only a gift for the Hornets, but that's a gift for everyone. Lamelo Ball and Victor Wembanyama together. What would it
True.
duo? That would be a lot of fun. So we're doubling up on the gifts there, but we'll see which one actually gets them. But I think the Hornets are their need for certain of a star running mate for Lamelo Ball, and I would love for it to be Victor Wembanyama.
I agree. I think that would be sorry, Rockets fans. I think that would actually be more fun than him winding up in Houston. But nonetheless, let's jump over to the San Antonio Spurs. So for the Spurs, I see the Spurs as a team that has a couple of players that don't get enough recognition. In particular, well, they've got a few, but in particular, Keldon Johnson and Jakob Pertl. So I want to give the Spurs recognition. Maybe I'm going to give them a big spotlight because I think Jakob Poeltl is a lot better than people realize. And the same thing with Keldon Johnson. The Spurs have them on good deals here. We'll see what happens with Jakob Poeltl contractually, but we need to put a spotlight on these players, if nothing else, to increase the trade value for the Spurs if they decide to make some kind of a move. But I think they've got a couple of guys who could be long-term fits there. People just need to understand how good these guys actually are.
I love it. For the Orlando Magic, I'm going to give them better health. Just get your guys healthy. They've got a lot of great, interesting, fun, young pieces. Let's get them on the floor. They've gotten the guards back in recent weeks, and you saw they went on a 6-game win streak with Markelle Fultz and Cole Anthony kind of leading the way in the backcourt alongside Paulo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and some of the other guys. They're getting Wendell Carter Jr. back tonight. They're getting Gary Harris back tonight. So this team is about as healthy as they've been all season long. So let's keep that train moving, and let's find out how these guys fit together and get a real sense of what this Magic group can be.
I like it. I like it. For the Oklahoma City Thunder, I'm going to give them a blood transfusion from Wolverine for Chet Holmgren because the season is just not as fun without Chet out there. So I think we need somehow Wolverine's healing powers to be transferred for Chet Holmgren so we can get the big man out on the floor. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander would certainly have a lot more fun playing with him as well, and they'd be racking up some more wins. So let's get Chet Holmgren back, and let's use some Wolverine mutant powers to make it happen.
I love it. I'm going to give the Washington Wizards direction. Just pick a way. Let's not hang out in the middle anymore. Let's either go all in and build the best possible team we can around Bradley Beal and try to really be a real winner and a team that can be in the playoffs every single year, or let's just call it season-ending minor injuries or something that causes guys to miss out. Maybe they get stuck in the DC traffic nightly and they miss a whole bunch of games and everything falls apart and they lose a whole bunch of games and then they finally land that second kind of franchise guy alongside Beal in the draft, because this team right now, they're just kind of stuck in the middle. They're never really, really awful, but they're never really good. Just kind of hanging out there in the middle. Let's get some direction in Washington. And boy, that sounds like that could be used in a lot of other ways beyond basketball too.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. That's we're suddenly delving into politics.
Yeah, there it is. Everyone will love that show.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we will not get any complaints in the comments at all.
Never.
That will never happen. All right, for the Golden State Warriors, currently sitting at 15 and 18, I'm giving them a bench, not to sit on, but a bench to play. They need it so badly. Their bench has been a problem for them this season. I know we could have gone with like health for Steph Curry or something like that, but I think they need a bench. This team needs depth. Wouldn't shock me if they wind up making some kind of move with one or more of their young players in order to try to add some veteran help on the bench. But that's been their Achilles heel for much of the season. It's been the inability for the bench to hang on to leads or be competitive. So Golden State Warriors, pretty clear. They need a bench.
I love that one. That is perfect. I'm going to give the Chicago Bulls. Lonzo Ball wakes up and just feels great. No more pain in the knee, and he's ready to go. And that gets him going with the Bulls. And the Bulls don't have to break it all up, and they see what it looks like. Well, maybe they can get back to being that team they were at the beginning of last season and make a real run at this. It was too short-lived of a good time in Chicago. So I'm going to give them a healthy Lonzo Ball and hopefully a push back up the standings for Chicago.
I like it. I like it. With the Minnesota Timberwolves, who deal with that cold that I'm talking about oh so often. The Minnesota Timberwolves, I'm going to give them a trade, actually. I'm going to give them a trade, and I'm going to swap Karl Anthony Towns for Trae Young. Let's make this happen. Let's do something big for Christmas, and let's give them the guard that they need. I don't think the Towns and Gobert thing's going to work all that well. Like, this is not reality, but I'm going to give them a trade, and I'm going to get them get Towns out of Minnesota. I'm going to get Trae Young out of Atlanta, and we're going to see if both players can benefit by being in a different location.
I love it. I'm going to give the Toronto Raptors let's get their mojo back. Let's give them their mojo back where they're feeling good and they're playing confident and they're running the floor and they're defending and they're doing all the things that they haven't done enough this season. They've been just such a shaky team. They haven't seemed right. They haven't seemed like that Raptors group that really wants to get after it. So I'm going to give them their mojo back and they can get after it. And then let Masai Ujiri do his work. Let him kind of, see if it's time to make that big trade or something like that. But first, let's just get these guys playing confident again.
Well, I'm going to move to the Dallas Mavericks, and we're going to go a little Home Alone theme here. And I think it's only appropriate given Luca is essentially home alone right now. He doesn't have a whole lot of help there. The other teams are circling, trying to steal him like the Wet Bandits. But he needs a family. Luca needs a family for
Aw.
Christmas, and I'm talking about in the form of a superstar running mate because right now he doesn't have it. It's all on Luca to set all the traps for opponents night in and night out and somehow make it through the night. So we need to find Luca a little bit of help. We're gonna give Luca a basketball family.
I love it. I'm going to go to the Atlanta Hawks and I'm going to accept your idea of a Trey Young for
I like
Carl
it.
Anthony Towns trade, and I'm gonna give it right back, and I'll do that trade, and I'll take it, and let's see, what can be built out of this, kind of messy team that just hasn't come together quite the way it is. I'm also gonna give a Hawks player, a player we both love and like a lot, John Collins. I'm gonna give him a new
Yes.
home. Well, let's get him somewhere where he's loved and appreciated, like so many of those pets and puppies that are going to be adopted at Christmas time. Well, let's get John Collins a place where he can be that dog again and he can get after it and run the floor and finish plays and do all the things that we love about John Collins, because it seems like Atlanta has run their course. So let's see where it goes. But yeah, I think just an aside here, getting a little serious. I think Atlanta's ready to shake things up
I
big
think so
time.
too.
I think they are absolutely one of the teams to watch here going into this trade deadline, and then an extension of that this coming off season.
There's just too much smoke around the
Hmm.
Hawks doing something that it's going to
Yep.
happen. And it could be, we've talked about how January, like a lot of prices are simply too high in December, but come January starts to get a more realistic. You get a couple of deals done mid-January, and then you get, obviously things picking up steam as we get closer to the trade deadline on February 9th. Um, the Hawks could be one of those teams where you already have kind of those embers burning, and so by mid-January, maybe they have something worked out. So we could be just a few
Hmm.
weeks away from a Hawks move.
Yep.
Um, where am I at? Portland Trail Blazers. So with the Blazers, I think the best gift that I can give the Blazers is a real playoff run. And I'm talking about just giving Damian Lillard at least one more shot at a playoff performance here with the Portland Trail Blazers and an opportunity to advance. I want to give him that chance because it feels like he's been waiting for his chance and waiting for the opportunity, and he's gotten so far, but it hasn't quite worked out. They haven't been able to go all the way. I want to give him at least one more shot before the Blazers maybe look at doing something fairly drastic. And I think they're good enough to do it. So I'm going to give the Blazers a real playoff run here.
I love that one. I'm going to give the Indiana Pacers patience. Let's just see this through where they're at right now. They're playing better than expected. So let's just kind of let this thing be whatever it's going to be. Let's let it grow into whatever it is. You've got Tyrese Halliburton. He's your star moving forward, but you got Benedict Mathurin. He is going to be, something really special. And you know what? Just hang on to Miles Turner. Let's keep him there in Indiana. You've never traded him yet. He's playing really well. He fits good with Halliburton. Let's let that team grow into whatever it's going to be, and then let's use that cap space and whatever you're going to have going forward next summer into building pieces around what they've already got. So a little bit of patience for Indiana. That's what they're getting from me.
Okay. All right. I like that one. So the Utah Jazz. So this is a club that has already kind of unwrapped their Christmas presents, didn't they, on opening night when it turned out that this team is much better than anyone anticipated. And so I have a little bit of trouble with what do you give this team that already has something that's so great. But I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go more minutes for Walker Kessler. He's wonderful. I love watching him out
Yeah.
there. He's great. Let's please feed him more minutes. Let's stay the course. Utah, I don't know if they need to be a buyer on the trade market. If something makes sense, but I certainly don't think they're going to be a seller. So let's just feed more minutes to Walker Kessler and all benefit from it.
I love that one. I'm going to go for the Miami Heat, the gift of youth this holiday season. Let's not necessarily give them younger players, but let their older players feel young again. Let's let Jimmy Butler feel good and like he's a young bouncing wing and it's all over the place. And Kyle Lowry feels good and he gets all the way through the season and all the rest of their guys, because I think there's something in there for Miami. They're tough. They make these runs late in the year and they tend to be a very good team once they get into the postseason. So let's get them feeling good. Let's get them feeling young and energetic all the way through. And I think there could be a big playoff run coming in Miami.
All right. I like it. I like it. I feel like the Sacramento Kings have already given a gift to the entire NBA by lighting the beam.
Let's go
Um,
light the beam.
right? Like that's been fun. And it's brought and look, they're the 6th seed right now in the West. They're bringing life back to Sacramento basketball. It's been a long time since they've been there. So, as far as what I'm going to give this team, I'm going to give this team sustainability. I mean, they're not going to flame out this season. They're not going to fall to pieces in the second half here and drop in the standings. And the next thing you know, they're the 11th seed, just barely missing out again. No, the beam has been too much fun. I'm going to say Sacramento, we're going to give them a playoff berth this season.
I'm going to give the New York Knicks a combo trade that delivers them a real rotation upgrade. Who
Ooh.
that is, I don't know, but they're going to put together Evan Fournier, Cam Reddish, Derrick Rose, maybe, and they have all these extra first round picks that they've got. Plus, they're all of their own first round picks. They put all that together. They're going to go get somebody who's going to upgrade their rotation, come in, give them real rotation minutes alongside what has been a pretty good team since Tom Thibodeau said, you know what? I'm going to go with the guys who will defend, and that's going to be our identity, and we're going to lock in on that end. I'm going to give them one more player, and then the Knicks become, instead of kind of this fun story again, they become a real playoff contender.
I like it. I like it. This one's easy. The Clippers, health for Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. I mean, that's that's
Yep.
that's really what they need. This was my team that I picked to come out of the Western Conference. I still think they have great depth. I think they're really good, but you need those guys to be healthy. So health for Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, done deal for the Clippers.
I'm going to give the Philadelphia 76ers a present. It's going to take them a little bit to unwrap it, but let's get to the playoffs and get through a playoff run healthy. Joel Embiid
Yeah.
stays healthy. James Harden stays healthy. And they are able to find out what is this team, because it feels like every year we get to the postseason and somebody majors hurt for the Philadelphia 76ers, and they only go so far because of it. So I want to see them fully healthy and they go. And that's what I'm going to give them this year.
For the Phoenix Suns, I'm going to give them heart. You know what? We're going Wizard of Oz here. This is a team that last year in the playoffs no showed in the biggest game of the season in Game 7. It was bizarre, and I don't think they can exercise those demons fully until we see it come playoff time this year. They've had some big performances. They've been good. They're still one of the best teams in the Western Conference, but I need to see them when the going gets tough. I need to see them punch back and fight through some adversity. They did it already in the opening game of the season against the Dallas Mavericks. I need to see it come playoff time, though. We're going to give them heart because I think that's what's going to be most important for this team.
It's a good one. I'm going to give the Brooklyn Nets just a sense of peace. Let's keep things calm. No nonsense. No
So
off the court
you're trading
distractions.
Kyrie?
Nope. Kyrie's gonna find it. He's gonna find that
He's
inner
gonna find
peace.
his piece.
He's
I
just
like it.
gonna play hoop. He's gonna do his thing with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant gave a really cool interview recently where they asked him, like, what is it that keeps you going? You've won MVPs, you've won championships, you've won gold medals. And he said, I just love to hoop. I just want to play. I
Mhm.
just want to play basketball. And he talked about how he loves going to practice and feeling like I'm working on my game and I'm getting better. And that's great. So let's give that entire roster a sense of peace and calm around them. And let's find out just how good the Nets can be.
I like it. I like it. The New Orleans Pelicans were my dark horse team to come out of the Western Conference, and they've been playing extremely well. Currently, the 3 seed in the West, Zion's has been dealing with health and safety protocols, but they're really good. They've got all of the wing depth. They've got a star in Zion. They've got some guys who can score the basketball. You got Brandon Ingram, got CJ McCollum. It's an exciting and a fun team to watch. I am going to give the Pelicans. I'm just going to give them, and sounds simple, but I'm going to give them a healthy Zion. And maybe that's a gift to the entire NBA, but I want Zion healthy for the entirety of the season. And I want to see them in the postseason with Zion healthy. I think that gives them a puncher's chance against just about anybody, and maybe even more than a puncher's chance. So healthy Zion Williamson, I think, is the best gift that I can give the Pelicans.
I'm going to give the Cleveland Cavaliers 2 presents because they've been that fun. So the first thing I'm going to give them is just a nice playoff run where they can really learn some things. Generally, we see these young teams, they take their lumps the first time or two through the playoff crucible. Let's see Cleveland get in there, kind of take their lumps and figure things out as they go. And then after that, the other present I'm going to give them, because I think it's going to take till the offseason. I don't think they can get this at the trade deadline. Let's get them a 3 that can really fit in between their guys. I like Lamar Stevens. I like Karis LeVert, but let's get them a player who can really fit in that grouping, because I'm not quite sure it's definitely going to be Isaac Okoro or not. Maybe it is. Maybe it is him and he grows into that role here throughout the course of that playoff run. I'm also giving them, but Cleveland's been fun to see that team come together. They made the big Donovan Mitchell trade, and now they're going to be a playoff team. They're going to be a tough out. I just think they're probably a year away.
All right, for the Memphis Grizzlies, this is a team where they may actually be getting this gift, and it could actually be happening this evening. I'm going to give them the gift of Desmond Bane, who's been absolutely fantastic, but he's been out with injury for what's felt like forever now. They're still sitting as the number 2 seed, actually tied for the top seed in the Western Conference right now, a record of 19-11, and they're doing a lot of this without Dez, and he was fantastic playing at an all-star level. So Desmond Bane, I feel like, is a fantastic Christmas gift for the Memphis Grizzlies to receive, and could very well wind up being the team that comes out of the West if they can stay healthy with him and Triple J in the mix.
Yeah, no, I love that one, because I don't know how many people realize just how good Desmond Bane was playing. He was basically 25, 5 and 5 and pushing 50, 40, 90 shooting before he got hurt. So hopefully he does get back and go. All right, I'm down to my final 2 teams. I'm going to skip the Celtics because they'll go next. But the Milwaukee Bucks, much like giving the Grizzlies a healthy Desmond Bane, I'm going to give them a healthy Chris Middleton, because something's still going on with Chris Middleton. He's been back, but then he's back out again. They need him. If they're going to be the team that can contend for the title, they've got to have Chris Middleton in there. So I'm going to give them a healthy Chris Middleton alongside all the rest of the guys they've got. They just got Joe Ingles back. He's already kind of fitting in and giving them a lot of what they need off that bench. Get them a Chris Middleton back in the lineup that is fully healthy, and let's go, and let's see if Milwaukee can bring another title home.
All right. I like that one. And for the Denver Nuggets, I am going to give them the gift of recognition. It feels like everybody is sleeping on the Denver Nuggets, despite the fact that they are the 1 seed right now in the Western Conference. I think part of it is their point differential doesn't suggest that they should be quite that high. They're only plus 1.4, but this is a very good team when they can get everybody healthy. They've been absolutely fantastic, and I think they could also be the team. I know I've said it for the last few teams, but that's how wide open the West is. Could be the team that is still standing when the dust settles in the West. And people aren't paying enough attention to the Nuggets. They've got the 2-time reigning MVP, and somehow they are still flying under the radar, sitting as the number 1 seed. Let's give recognition to the Denver Nuggets for how good they've been.
I like that one. All right, the Boston Celtics. I know the easy gift to give them would be Banner 18, but I don't have those kind of Santa Claus powers. So instead, I'm going to give the Celtics figure it out. That they figure out whatever it is that's been ailing them over the last couple of weeks. They get back to that butt kicking group that had come into the start of the season, basically saying, you know what, we lost in the finals, but we're here. We're going to use that experience to drive us forward. Hopefully this is just a rough patch and they learn from it and they get through it. But that's what I'm going to give the Celtics, because although I can't give them Banner 18, I don't quite have that Santa Claus powers in me. If I give them the ability to get back to their best version of themselves, I think Banner 18 will come.
All right. I like it. I like that ability. I don't like that outcome, but I like that ability to get back to themselves. I think the Lakers, the easy answer would be a healthy Anthony Davis, right? I mean, that's such a huge difference maker on both ends of the floor for them. He was playing at an MVP level, and they don't still know exactly what's going on with him. Like there's uncertainty there. It's bizarre. I can't say we've seen something like this before, but we still don't know exactly what's going on. So a healthy Anthony Davis is the easy one, but I think what they need most is they need clarity in the front office. They need a cohesive plan that they can execute, because it hasn't felt like they've really had that. Perhaps that would require some decision makers being shifted in or out of the process. But the bottom line is, I think that this team has been kind of lost in the last couple of seasons and hasn't been able to figure out exactly what it is that they want to do and the moves that they've made. haven't really put them any closer. In fact, each move has pushed them farther away from getting to where they want to go. So I do think the gift of clarity in their front office, even if it means a change there, is probably the best thing that's going to help this team's long-term future.
I think that is the perfect gift for them. So, guys, there it is. We did it. We got through all 30 teams. We gave them all our Christmas presents that we can give away. For me, all I can say is thanks to everyone so much for all your
Yep.
support of the show. We see your comments all the time. We see your ratings on iTunes and other places. We really, really appreciate it. We are, so thankful that we get to do this with you guys. It's trade season basically. After we get out of the holidays, we'll be full on in it. Trade season is less than 7 weeks away. So by the time we get through the holiday period, we'll be about a month and a half out. And that's our time to shine here. We'll be breaking down all the latest news and notes. I'll announce it here now because we're probably going to do it. But live show on trade deadline day again, because that's a lot of fun. We have so much fun with you guys breaking down the last little bit, a couple hours into the deadline and then past as we get all those deals flowing in. So we have a lot of fun with this time of year. So thank you all so much for everything you do for us. And I sincerely hope, whether it's Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or something else out there that you celebrate, whatever it is, we hope that you guys have it. Festivus. Yeah, we hope that you all have a safe and happy holiday season. Have a great time with your family, friends, and if nothing else, enjoy the basketball on Christmas Day. I know there's a couple football games, but it's still the NBA's day.
That's right. That's right. We're not letting the NFL take away Christmas at this point. So, Keith, you said everything perfectly there. I couldn't say it any better. So I want to say again, thank you to everybody for watching the show. Make sure you are subscribing and follow us over on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Stay safe, everybody. Have a wonderful holiday season. See ya.